Hey everybody, welcome back to the Factory Reset channel. Today we are resetting our brains and our frames on ruts in jiu-jitsu and in martial arts in general. When you start getting to a mid-level, either rank in jiu-jitsu or you've been doing Muay Thai for a little while, how to get past the feeling that you are not learning anymore, right? It's something that we have happen. Honestly, it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
It happened to me. It happened to every single training partner I know.
It happens in CrossFit a lot too.
Yeah.
Like you hit kind of like a plateau where your lifts aren't getting heavier, your turns aren't getting faster, and you start to get kind of pissed off.
Yeah, it's something that there's actually names for it because it happens so much in especially jiu-jitsu. It's called either the blue belt blues or the purple belt rut.
I like the blue belt blues.
Say that 5 times fast,
right? That's hard.
So the blue belt blues or the purple belt rut. And it's something that makes a huge amount of people quit when they start hitting those ranks. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you, almost every single jiu-jitsu academy out there and Muay Thai academy out there has a curriculum that is roughly 6 months to a year and a half long. All right, some do it cyclically every 6 months. Some expand it out to about a year to a year and a half. But that is generally the case where after about a year and a half, and I kind of liken it to, and maybe it's not necessarily the best analogy for it, but I grew up Catholic. And every single time, every Sunday, my parents would take us to the church and we would sit in these hard wooden uncomfortable pews where, you know, the sit stand kneel and of Catholic churches, and you would always listen to them read the Bible. They would read the Bible and then they would, you know, talk a little bit about it, like explain it in a way or relate it in a way to what's happening, you know, in that kind of sense. But basically you go for about 8 to 10 years and you're getting through the same stuff.
Right. You're like, I've heard this before.
Yeah, you've heard this story before. You've heard this scripture before.
So that's where the rut comes in. Is
the rut happens.
You're like, I already know this move.
Yeah.
I already know how to armbar. I already know how to sweep. I already.
So that's what happens a lot of times because most curriculums, there's only so many ways I can show a person how to choke somebody. There's only so mechanical ways that I can show it. It's like a choke is just literally a constriction of the blood and the airway. Blood or the airway or both.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
It's the same in CrossFit, right? Like there's only one way to do an air squat. Like
yeah, you squat down, you get back up.
Yeah.
No, you can do it as a front squat, you can do it as a back squat, you can do it as a goblet.
Yeah, you can add different variations.
But the mechanics
but it's all just the same.
It's just a squat. It's just going up and going down with your legs. Same thing with a choke. Same thing with an armbar. It's like there's only a few different ways you can actually break an arm. It is hyperextending the joint, hyperextending the wrist, or overextending either way on the shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's it. Like, I mean, you're not like breaking the bones, you know, in here. Like I guess you can, that happens, but.
So when you get stuck in there, in that rut, like, what do you do?
So there's a couple of different thoughts to getting out of the rut. But the main thing that we have to consider right off the bat is whether or not you're, in a sense, taking accountability for your own training. And that's the biggest problem. It's like for you, for example, fitness world. This is a really easy analogy to make. If you go to the gym every single day, or maybe, you know, take rest days or whatever. But if you go to the gym regularly and you're doing the same deadlift and you deadlift, I don't know, say you deadlift 150 pounds.
Okay.
And every day you go to deadlift, you just put on
I load up
the plates, 150, and you do it. Are you going to make progress?
I mean, no. It's one of those like, well, kind of. because I'm showing up every day and I'm maintaining that muscle, right? So I am making progress. But
your consistent progress. Like
if my goal is to be able to lift heavier in a certain amount of time, no, I not by lifting the same amount of weight every single time I'm there.
Well, side question though, that just kind of came into my head. And yeah, I apologize. It is that flu time of year.
I know. I'm sorry.
It is, but regardless of that, real quick question. Does your metabolism normalize to your workouts? So meaning like, people will say that if you want to lose weight, you have to burn so many calories, and lifting weights, building muscle is a way to burn calories for that. But is there any kind of dependency on your continued progress in weight loss that correlates to increasing your weight or exertion? So basically, in a nutshell, if I can run a mile, and at first it's hard, and then it becomes easier and easier and easier the more I do it, does that change the amount of calories it takes or it burns from me doing it?
So it's not as simple as in black and white as that, unfortunately. But essentially, in a nutshell, your metabolism doesn't just like even out, but as you hit a certain stage in your life, it
I guess I was going to say, I guess the way to say it is like a plateau.
Yeah.
You plateau your metabolism where you have to do other things. Well, the same thing I guess can be said for lifting weights and martial arts is you hit the plateaus.
Yeah.
And basically when you hit the plateaus or the ruts, the blue belt blues, all of those things, it's usually due to a lack of progressive stimulus.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, and the reason I use that word is because in order to grow in anything, you have to stimulate the growth. There has to be a hardship or a struggle or something that stimulates growth. And what's happening is that a lot of individuals don't take the accountability in their own training to stimulate their own growth.
Yeah.
They think that it comes from just coaches. Our coaches, we run our classes, we have the curriculum. The curriculum is usually, in a lot of cases, cyclical, meaning that after a little while, you're gonna run into teaching basic arm bars again, teaching certain sweeps, teaching back attacks and rear naked chokes. Like, you're gonna run into those again. And it's not necessarily about just accumulating knowledge and just absorbing knowledge, because we get a lot of blue belts, purple belts, who, when we get around to the same, part of the curriculum again, they get bored.
Yeah.
They're like, Coach, you've already taught me this. Teach me something new. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you can get some fancy things like off of YouTube. Well, this person is doing the K-guard entry to the, this, I don't know, invert to heel hook or some.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. I just spoke. You can get the little math symbols going across Cassie's head right now.
K-guard. Oh, what the hell?
So you get all these things that start just coming out. Like, people start developing all of these different guards and all of these different entries. But when it comes down to it, heel hook's a heel hook.
Yeah.
An off balance is an off balance. An arm bar is an arm bar. And you'll find different entries for it and different ways to do it. But when we're teaching the things in the class, and we're teaching submissions and we're teaching transitions and things like that, it is just a collection of techniques.
Yeah.
It's going to a chef school, and you're learning to be a chef. And the chef said, okay, you put your beef right here, you cut it like this, you add these veggies to it, you add this seasoning to it, you've made a steak and a potato and veggies. And then the next time you come around to it, you'll be like, oh yeah, we're making steak, potato, and veggies today with the chef. And it's like, but is that what being a chef is all about? Or is being a chef about, well, I'm taking this and I'm pairing it this time with a red wine reduction. I'm gonna add mushrooms, but I'm gonna saute the mushrooms first. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try it maybe before I add in the red wine reduction.
Yeah, figuring out how to put your own.
You're putting your own twists to things.
Flair.
You're adding your own elements to it, right? So it becomes something that you're constantly working on. So it's a quote that I wish I had come up with this. I don't remember where I heard it from a long time ago, but it was a white belt's job in class is to imitate. You are, I mean, besides the whole survival requirements, all of that, your job is to imitate. You see things, you try to duplicate the things that you are seeing, whether it's escapes, passes, all of that stuff. When you hit blue belt, you're trying to accumulate knowledge. You're going through the curriculum, you're trying to collect the different ways that you can attack, defend, transition, sweep, and so on.
Yeah,
when you hit purple belt, the job becomes to experiment. It's like, okay, I have all of the accumulation of knowledge, but now it's time to start ordering them in a way that causes the other person to not know what I'm doing and to gain more success with it. You're trying to experiment with different entries, different setups, different traps, things like that. When you hit brown belt, it's all about refining, right? It's you're trying to refine your knowledge of the different traps, of the different things, and put them in a way that makes them more effective. Like in a way, timing. Right? Timing is something that we just had this conversation in our jiu-jitsu class not very long ago. It was when you are teaching, when you are learning in class, I can teach you how to do an armbar. But that doesn't mean unless the person holds it there for you that you're going to be able to execute it in class. So how do we become more effective at it?
Position and time it right and pull it and be able to successfully.
And the only way that you can do that is by one, either trying it in rolling, or two, trying it under controlled resistance. We call those situationals. So it's like the individual is actively, if you're doing a guard pass to a sweep. Your opponent is guard passing you and you're going into a sweep. I can show you how to sweep somebody. I can show you, put knee here, put foot here, grab this collar, grab this sleeve, and pull them onto your body and sweep them. But it's different when the person is giving you pressure, giving you a pass, giving you feedback. But that is, in a sense, how we're learning. That person is providing stimulus for you to time their movements. They're not just being a dummy. They're not a punching bag sitting on you that you get to flip over. That doesn't teach you anything. It teaches you the raw technique and mechanic of it. But how do you translate that raw technique mechanic to an actual person fighting you? And the only way that you can do that is by working your timing. And the only way that you can work your timing is by slowly having somebody increase the stress put on you, and then you execute the technique within that stress. Now that stress doesn't have to be all out. That stress can be 10% at first. It can be then go to 20%, 30%, so on, until you can practice it in rolls. But people thinking it's like, coach taught me an armbar, but I can never hit an armbar in like actual class. Well, it's like, well, the reason being is because you haven't bridged the gap between mechanic and execution, the timing gap. It's like, well, how do you set it up? How are you bridging that gap? And that's where that area has to be. So how you do that is have somebody flow in a situational where you just hit the armbar, but they're giving you a low amount of resistance where you can set it up and time it with enough resistance to where you have to actually time it. But it's not so much resistance where they stop you from timing it, right? They stop you. And then you build it up. So that's where it becomes more of the refinement area, and that's where brown belt goes, right? So there is a refinement throughout the entire thing. But refinement really becomes paramount at brown belt because you're taking the experimentation that you've been working at in purple belt from the accumulation that you got in blue belt from and with the foundations of the imitation that you got at white belt. And now you're putting all of the pieces together in order to make it effectively work for you. And then when you hit black belt, it's all about, in a sense, expressing that knowledge, all of the different knowledge in all of the different scenarios. So you've refined it, you've experimented, you've accumulated, and now you're playing your music. So if like you're a musician, I have accumulated my knowledge of the notes. I have seen or I'm sorry, to start it from the beginning. I've seen my piano teacher teach or play. I've accumulated my knowledge of the notes. I've started trying to mix my own theory together on what notes come after what and what sounds good. I've then refined my practices on getting really fast with my movements on the piano. And the fifth is writing my own song.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's it.
I was gonna say, it sounds like when you hit purple that you're trying to find your style and figure out your game and how to make it.
Yeah. The problem is that a lot of blue belts, purple belts, and so on get stuck in the accumulation trap. They think that their skill is dependent upon
accumulating more knowledge.
Yeah, how much I can accumulate. But there's only so much knowledge that exists on how to break a human body.
That's true.
And the only knowledge that doesn't exist in there, that isn't given to you there, is people's experimentation. I'll tell you for a fact, like from my own experience, 10 years ago, octopus guard really wasn't a thing. You know, when I was coming up, and maybe octopus was, but like 15 years ago when I was a brown belt, it wasn't. K-guard wasn't a thing.
I don't even know what that means.
Choi bars weren't a thing.
Also don't know what that means.
You know, they're just all these new trendy ways of saying, hey, I'm stepping across and doing an arm lock on the other side, Choi bar.
So it was somebody finding their flair or finding their...
They were experimenting.
And now it's become a more common way of...
People will put names on them to define them, to give them a unique characteristic to define like what it is that they're doing. And that's perfectly fine. Choi bar is still just attacking the arm.
Okay.
All right, and there's only so many ways to attack the arm. But when you call it a Choi bar, what does that mean? It means that I'm coming across the body and attacking it from on the opposite side of my legs. Okay, that's all it is. It's just I'm coming across, I'm attacking it over there. So you could say cross arm lock attack. You can say that, but it's easier. People will say like, oh, I'm just doing the Choi bar from here. It's like, okay, so it's like a semantic argument. People will come up with just different ways to explain. So like, for example, Draculina had one, he called it Sovakira. Sovakira, in this way that I've always heard it, or I've always used it, is just simply 2-on-1 grip on the sleeve, pull it back, overhook, and I'm locked in. This is from a guard position, me in the guard. I 2-on-1 grip here, overhook, lock it in on the gi.
Okay.
All it is literally is just an overhook of the arm. But Sovakira
So it's like
is
tomato.
Sovakira, all it is it's describing the process.
Yeah.
It's like I am getting a 2-on-1 grip, I'm pulling it back, I am swimming around, and I am locking in a more effective way of just locking the arm instead of me just grabbing an arm.
Yeah.
Right? So we put a name on it to have a semantic difference to describe the process.
Okay.
But when you're doing this, all of that requires experimentation. You have to have gotten past the accumulation phase and gone into the experimentation phase, because honestly, that's how understanding is made. You don't understand things as well if you're just absorbing.
So purple belts, what I'm hearing is you need to start experimenting more so that you can now start naming things and have your name be famous.
And purple belts also drop in the comments, Cassie is not the boss of me.
Fine.
So,
don't be famous. Whatevs.
Cassie is not the boss of me. I will continue to be accumulating, and that's it, and not experimenting. Eat that, Cassie. So, but this is the blue belt blues, the purple belt ruts, and you don't really necessarily see it as much in brown belt. And the reason that you don't see it as much in brown belt is because you're getting close to the end, and by that point, the experimentation has already started, your style has already been found, you're in more of the refinement. That's why you don't see it as much. Where you're seeing a lot of the ruts effects is where stimulation needs to be added to the experiment, right?
Find your own stimulation.
Right? This is a family show. This is a family show. I need you to keep it a little bit more PG. But that's where we have to go with that. So when you're trying to do that, just like in your example of the weights, if you're only deadlifting 150 pounds, there's no way for you to get stronger. You have to experiment by seeing how many times or how well you can do, I don't know, an extra 10, 160.
Or can I put more weight on?
Yeah. How and what's it going to feel like?
Yeah.
Well, am I going to have to change how I set up my base? Am I going to change how I grip the bar because I can no longer grip it this way? I have to grip it this way, or I have to use the little wraps or whatever, you know?
Wraps are for weenies.
So that's the power lifters. The big, huge power lifters that are jacking it. Cassie called you a weenie. I'm just saying, Cassie calls you a weenie. But anyway, so you have to experiment. You have to give stimulus to your growth in order to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to do it. So all of that comes from a personal accountability in your own training. If you take a coach as being the only way that you can progress, you are going to be stuck in the accumulation phase. That is all it's going to be, because all I can do, I can give you all of the knowledge to be like, hey, you need to be experimenting. Hey, you need to be working out of these bad areas. Hey, you need to be showing up more. Hey, you need to get your diet on check. Hey, you need to be rolling more. Hey, you need to be putting yourself, here.
Cinderella.
Yeah, right?
Mop the floor, Cinderella.
So I can do all of that, but it becomes you having to take the accountability on yourself in order to make that progress. And it's something I had to deal with as a coach. I ran into this in a very unique way. I was a purple belt fighter. I had been a purple belt for 4 to 5 years at that point, because my first school went under for embezzlement. Not my first school, but my first gi jiu-jitsu school went under because one owner was embezzling from the other. I floated around. I talked about it in a different video. I started going to a red shielded gym that I'm not going to say who they are, but they have a big red shield. And I tried out that gym, and because we were rivals of there, the owner did not treat me super great. And maybe that was on me. Maybe I was a dick. Maybe I was arrogant. I don't know, probably was. But here's the thing is I didn't stay there. So I ended up being a gym hopper for a number of years. I ended up going to MMA gyms, doing more kickboxing and Muay Thai fights. I did a lot of stuff, right? When I finally came back and joined a different gym and started helping out in training, the school was white belts, maybe one blue belt. And at this point, I had been a purple belt for almost 5 years, 4.5 years, 5 years, and competitive in like fighting and all that stuff. So
you don't want to train with
training white belts and stuff like that was just tedious. So you find ways to do it. They became my situationals, so to speak.
Oh, you started experimenting on them.
I would experiment. They were my lab rats, right? They were like, okay, well, this person's going to give me this stress, this push from right here. I'm going to only work on arm bars today. Or I'm going to only work on this sweep, or I'm going to only try to do this specific triangle or this specific setup. And that's all I would do. And when you have a whole bunch of white belts trying to do this, it becomes like a situational where it's not somebody who's skilled enough to just smash past your attempts. Mm-hmm. It gives you the ability to make mistakes and not cost you the whole match.
Yeah. Because
of that. So that becomes what you're doing. There was a meme that just came out, like a meme. It was like a quote that came out from I think it was Robert Drysdale that says it, and it was Fabricio Verdum, who is a very pretty big name in jiu-jitsu, multi-time world champion, MMA champion, and Roger Gracie.
I also know who that is.
One of the biggest, greatest of all time.
Yeah.
They were winning world champions training in rooms with just white belts. How are they doing that?
So purple belts, what I'm also hearing is make the white belts your little lab rats.
I'm going to leave that one alone right now.
Also type in the comments, Rick is not the boss of me.
I didn't. So I'm going to leave that one alone. But in this, just note that all of your success after a certain level has to come from your own personal accountability, your own personal experimentation. But that's in everything.
Okay.
Literally everything.
Yeah, weightlifting,
in life.
CrossFit, all of it.
CrossFit, weightlifting, business,
swimming,
doing your own doing your own. There becomes a point where people can't just tell you what to do anymore. You have to start experimenting and figuring out what works for you.
Yeah.
And that's how you get past the blue belt blues, purple belt rut, the people who've lost their passion because they've stopped growing, or they've stopped seeing new techniques, or they've stopped seeing new skills. There's this great thing out there called YouTube right now. There's these other great things out there called, I think it's BJJ Heroes, or there's another one. There's the one that like sells courses on different techniques and stuff like that. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of material out there that you can buy or go for free and study, and just keep trying things. It doesn't just come from a coach. It doesn't just come from, well, I have all white belt training partners, so I guess I suck, or I guess I'm destined to suck. You know, it's like, no, just there are ways to get past everything.
Yeah.
But it has to start with your own accountability. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope we were able to kind of reset or reframe your mind on the ruts that you're going to experience and the plateaus you're going to experience. And if you enjoyed this, please leave us a comment and then let us know what you thought about this. And if you have any other things that we missed, don't forget to make sure that Cassie knows that she is not the boss of you. And also, if you are a power lifter who uses wraps, note that Cassie called you a weenie. And come at her in the comments. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.